Thank you all for being here at the celebration of life for my mom, Barbara. I'm Will, one of Barbara's 4 children, if you don't know me. Sylvia's also here. Good to see so many friends, family, and folks who love mom here today with us. As you all know, she was a person who attracted and fostered love and friendship wherever she went, which is obvious seeing everybody here today, people who came. Before we start, I just want to thank Jefferson Unitarian Church here for hosting us and giving us this time. They've been great, and we really appreciate their help and use of their space. Thank you to Carol, Ozzy, and Alex in the back there, and AV, for helping us out. They're very big on composting here, and we want to make sure we compost everything we can, but don't throw any regular trash in the compost, obviously. That's the most important thing. Throw trash in the trash. It's all pretty easily labeled out there, so try to do that. We don't have much of an agenda for this ceremony. Mom wouldn't have likely wanted a lot of pomp and circumstance over her. In fact, she'd probably be embarrassed to have friends and family gushing about her at all. So we'll keep it simple. I think she would have wanted this to be a celebration of her life and all the people in it. I have a few things to say, and then we want to have Steve come up and say a few words and also perform a song that he wrote for Mom, which I've had a sneak preview of, and it's beautiful, very nice. And then after that, we can open up the floor to anybody who wants to come up and say anything you'd like about Mom, talk about their relationship with her, tell a funny or memorable story, or just have one last chance to rip her about something silly that she did, because she was prone to that. So, think about what you'd like to say if you'd like to come up. No pressure, obviously. But we'll do that after I go and Steve says a few words. For anyone who doesn't know, my mom was born in Brooklyn and grew up in the city and later on Long Island. Despite moving to Colorado and staying here for 40 plus years, she always held on to her New York heritage and attitude, and pieces of the accent. I'd often tease her over her pronunciation of orange, which came out like orange, very exaggerated orange in Florida in that New York way. She loved the Front Range, but she was also ecstatic when my older brother moved back to her old neighborhood in New York City. And as Seamus put down roots, fell in love, married, and had Mom's only 2 grandchildren, Lucy and Rona, she relished getting to travel back to the city to see the kids and be in her original element, even though it had probably changed a lot since she had lived there in the 70s. It's fitting that the last time she traveled, and in fact the last time I saw her in person, was at my wedding in Central Park this last summer. It was wonderful having her there, obviously, and she got to hang out with the grandkids and be a part of our special day. But so much of her life was here in Denver that she might as well have been a native. She connected deeply with the land and felt a strong tie to the native people and cultures of the West. She loved the mountains and rivers and lonely grasslands of Colorado and the beautiful desolation of the deserts of Utah and New Mexico, though she always regretted not spending enough time outside of the city. But through most of my childhood, she was simply too busy to. She was a single mom with 4 kids, and although we all had good relationships with our dads and went to stay with them frequently, she was the rock that kept us together and gave us a family home. And she worked her butt off. All through my childhood, she cleaned houses, and I have fond memories of going with her to her clients' houses, usually which were normally nicer than ours, and a lot of times had cable TV, which we didn't have. So I would play with my toys all day while she cleaned, and got to spend like every summer with her pretty much. We were always on the brink of being broke, but she made it work somehow, and always put presents on layaway months ahead, like beforehand, so that we could have the best toys or newest heating system on Christmas morning. And then on top of all that, she went back to night school, adding more hours to her day, first in pursuit of a nursing degree before realizing her true calling in massage, healing touch, and the broader healing arts. And I'm sure it's from that passion that many of you know her. Mom had always been a disciple of alternative and Eastern medicine, going back to, when she was a teenager, early 20s. But it was in body and energy work that she realized her true potential as a healer and giver of strength and comfort and positivity. She was a source of knowledge and healing to so many clients, students, friends, and colleagues, and that will be her professional and interpersonal legacy. And that's just how she was in regular life too. She was kind and loving and open and willing to help anybody who needed it. Ours was always the house that had guests. Family and friends were always welcome, and And even mine and Seamus and Shenny and Sylvia's friends wanted to hang out at our place because she fostered such a welcoming, easygoing, safe environment. So many considered her a close friend, a confidant, and a surrogate parent. So many feel her loss because she made an outsized impact in her lifetime. Truly a powerhouse of love in a thin, strong package. And we'll all carry her with us, even though she's physically gone, because of how she treated us. There's a poem by Pablo Neruda titled, "I Will Come Back," and it reads, "Sometime, man or woman, traveler, afterwards when I am not alive, look here, look for me here, between the stones and the ocean, in the light storming, in the foam. Look here, look for me here, for here is where I shall come, saying nothing, no voice, no mouth, pure. Here I shall be again be the movement of the water, of its wild heart. Here I shall be both lost and found. Here I shall be perhaps both stone and silence." She was such an amazing person and such a fantastic mom. I owe so much of my empathy, open-heartedness, and compassion for others to her lessons. She was always looking to help others, sometimes to a fault, and was unwilling to give up on people. She rejected cynicism far better than I ever could, and gave people grace even when they may have not deserved it. And she loved whiskey and wine and dancing to Led Zeppelin and wiener dogs, as you probably all know. Because in addition to the warmth and love, she was a genuinely fun person to be around. And even though she couldn't tell a joke to save her life, often accidentally revealing the punchline in the setup or botching it completely, she could make me laugh at surprising times, sneaking in a one-liner or snarky comment that would catch me off guard. I'll remember her giggle and eye rolls and the lavender smell of her office and room and her unfancy but always satisfying and healthy cooking and her calm reassurance when I was worried and felt alone in the world. Thank you, Mom, for everything you did and continue to do for me and so many people. You made me the man I am. And since you believed in reincarnation and said that you could remember snippets of past lives, I hope that you're starting a new journey in a different physical vessel, maybe like a 6'8" wrestler or something this time. But I hope you'll still have flashes of memory of this life, because the love you put out into the world surely came back to you tenfold and will reverberate into whatever comes next. One more quick reading and then I'll be done. Turn it over to Steve. This is from a poem called "Let Me Go" by English poet Christina Georgina Rossetti. And I think it speaks for what Mom would have wanted from all of us today. "When I come to the end of the road and the sun has set for me, I want no rights in a gloom-filled room. Why cry for a soul set free? Miss me a little, but not for long, and not with your head bowed low. Remember the love that we once shared. Miss me, but let me go. For this is a journey we all must take, and each must go alone. It's all part of the master plan and a step on the road to home. When you're lonely and sick at heart, go to the friends we know. Laugh at all the things we used to do. Miss me, but let me go." Thank you.
Hi, everybody. Wonderful set of faces out here. It speaks so much of who Barbara was and how so many different types and kinds of people were drawn to her. I had the blessing of meeting her when she was 14 and I was 18. It was my mom's cousin who was her godmother. And back then, of course, 14 and 18 were not numbers that you put together in any kind of relationship, you know. everybody kind of had it in mind that I was going to be possibly connected with her oldest sister, who was more my age. Over time, I traveled around and hitched the country and did different things over time, and we kept in touch through letters that we would send pretty consistently. And eventually our letters changed from letters of friendship and wonder at the newness of life and what was going on to, hey, I kind of like you. And all of a sudden I was down in Lawrenceville, Georgia, staying with some friends on a farm, and who shows up unexpectedly but Barbara, who came, and that was kind of how we started our loving relationship in that more intimate way. And out of that, I can say is an incredibly joyful life that I have spent, some of which was hard because we split up, but we had two beautiful kids together who are powerful and potent and loving people in the world. And I've been blessed to have Sylvia and Will and the extended family that is. And as Will says, we don't have a family tree, we have a family shrub. The thing that I am most grateful for is that in spite of all the changes, we managed right up until the end to be best of friends. We managed to maintain our love throughout all of that. I drove out to Charlotte with her truck on a trailer behind my